Greetings and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Let's Play Metroid Prime. I'm X-Paradigm Gamer. B-17 Bomber. That's the way I said that, kind of reminded. But, you know, at any rate, in the last part we got a hold of the Wave Buster. And I think there's a specific enemy I want to demonstrate on. Not the Chozo Ghosts, unfortunately, because they're not vulnerable to anything besides the power beam for some mysterious, unknown goddamn reason. And it does explain it in the scan entry, yes, but I don't understand why the developers chose to make it that way. And yes, the scarabs are an easy way to grind back up for equipment if you want to, but, you know, here in this room is a plated beetle. I hate these motherfuckers. Electrocute you like a motherfucker. Yeah. That felt so satisfying. Now, the difference between the Wave Buster and the Super Missile, because they're both, we're almost to Tallon Overworld anyway, so I might as well walk the distance here, so to speak. But a big difference between the Super Missile and the Wave Buster is, with the Wave Buster, you start off by using a certain number of missiles, and then it like drains a missile for every second that you hold it afterwards. So it's not like the Super Missile where you launch like a single attack and then like that costs a certain amount. Here you launch an attack that I think takes like 10, and then it costs like 1 for every second afterwards that you hold it. So there's a specific enemy coming up real soon that is really weak to the Wave Buster, so that's why I want to grab it now before I head there. I think I'm gonna save at my ship here. I might as well stock up on missiles too, since I'm so low. I'll be cutting that out of the footage so you don't have to sit there and watch it, but you know, like, and hopefully the Hop-Hog won't fuck me over yet again, because, you know, like, like, the worst that could happen is I end up discovering that I lost, like, those 3 seconds worth of footage that it took to get back to the ship, so, you know, whatever. Risk taken. And because I was speaking there, I probably won't end up cutting that out, but, you know, it didn't take that long anyway. So we want to go, not there, here. I always forget where this little area is, but we were here briefly earlier, but there really wasn't much we could do, because we needed the gravity suit. And trust me, don't bother trying to go into this area before you get the gravity suit, because you will not make it. Well, interesting thing about the gravity suit that I might have mentioned, or may not, is that you might have noticed earlier that, you know, like, your vision was a little obscured when you went into water before, but now that we have the gravity suit, like, it's really clear. Everything's got like kind of a blue tint, but you know, up there is a missile expansion. That one can be a little easy to miss, especially if you're like me and you have to turn down the volume all the way so it doesn't reverb in the microphone. As you know, fun story for those of you who watch both me and Game Mavericks, which might be one of you. We actually did an entire separate run of the first 2 Sonic games, but what ended up happening was that we were using like 3 separate microphones instead of the one Snowball like I do now, or like we do now rather. So this is the next area. You'll recognize it really soon. It's gonna look pretty familiar to y'all. But you know, like the reason like we didn't release that particular run of Sonic 1 and 2 was because the reverb on the multiple microphones was so god-awful, and I just couldn't figure out how to fix it for the life of me without the parts taking a million years to upload. So we had to throw it out and redo it, which is why for like that, when I originally did Sonic 1, oh, by the way, the gimmick of this area is that there's going to be a lot of these things, so if a door won't open, that means swap to your thermal visor and check it out, and they're going to be some in every room coming up, pretty much. These are actually not scarabs. Fucking let me scan it. These are Tallon crabs, crustacean native of Tallon 4, hard-shelled swarm life form. Once harvested for food, exposure to Phazon has seen this practice diminish. Creatures are timid and harmless alone, but can be a problem when traveling in swarms. They're scarabs. They're the exact same, like, they look slightly different, but they're not any different. Fun fact about here is that there's actually an invisible ceiling. Like, because if you shoot it, and you can't jump past it either. I guess that's why it exists. That you don't, like, jump up super... I don't know why, but again, like, how are these floating? These don't even have the, like, the little boosters, like the little stalactite icicle things. These here are also not flying pirates. These are aqua pirates, space pirates with exoskeletons modified for underwater use. Using modified thruster packs and gravity suit technology, the space pirates have armor suits for use in liquid environments. Thermal tracking is still very useful against these units, as the pirate engineers have yet to eliminate the thruster pack's high heat signature. So they're also weak to the ice beam, and that is, again, how I recommend taking these fuckers out. Now, trying to make it through this room in particular would you stop moving? Alright. No! Not that one. Ugh. But, you know, like, if you try to move around in this room without the gravity suit, trying to platform around in this room is just an utter bitch. So there are 3 or 4 of these wall things that activate the electricity. Why do these exist? Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, we are actually in the Sunken Frigate Orpheon. Yeah. And so it would make sense that nothing would have power because everything's, like, all destroyed and whatnot. But, you know, at the same time, like, do there have to be, like, 5 of them in every room? Well, they're not that many, but, you know, you catch my drift. It's not really an interesting puzzle, and Samus just turned invisible somehow. I don't know why they do that, but now these doors won't open until you walk up next to them. There are 2 of them right here. You might recognize that room we were just in was where we fought this Parasite Queen. So, like, if you pay really close attention to the layout of the levels, you actually notice, and then here's, like, the same save station and everything. If you pay attention, you'll be able to see, like, especially if you played this game more than once, like I have, that you'll be able to really see. There's a energy tank in here. It's not like you can miss it because it's right in front of you, but, you know, and this room also has more of those freaking things. You know what this room reminds me of? If you've ever played, well, of course, everyone's played it. If you've played Super Mario 64, like, you know that area in, like, Jolly Roger Bay, I believe it's called, is the name of the level, where, like, you have to climb up the side of that ship? It kind of reminds me of that. And whenever I played that area when I was a kid, what I'd do is instead of, like, actually, I might have missed one. No, I got the one down there. Hopefully that's all there is. Ahem, Sam, let's get up here. No, I missed one. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, it's all the way back there? How did I miss that? Alright, shoot it. There we go. And of course there needed to be 3 of them. Oh, hold on. Where's the platform? This room's a little dark, isn't it? But yeah, it reminds me of that. And, like, whenever I played that level when I was a kid, I'd usually, like, just, the moment I opened that last chest, I'd just, like, swim all the way to the top so I wouldn't have to platform through all that shit. It's been an age since I've last played Super Mario 64. And honestly, that game has not aged very well, but that is a discussion for another time. You know what? I'm going to try something new here. Yeah, you could freeze them. I've never thought to try that, because usually I'm using the wave or 4th beam on these guys. I almost spoiled it for you guys, but yeah, so by now you might have noticed a pattern. And I'm going to be getting... I kind of touched on this earlier, but I'm going to take care of this drone before I really start examining that. Take that. And then you can see that other Parasite Queen is right there, floating around. Can you scan it? No, of course not. But this we're primed to... Okay. See, like, to open that thing, there's no scan... There's, like, a door like that there. You're supposed to use a super missile to open it, but, you know, like, I guess... when I was trying to hit the other guy, the drones, I hit it by accident. But, you know, that's a very productive accident, at least. There's another one up there. Ugh. But, yeah, you might have noticed a pattern, especially if you've played a certain video game released in 1994 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I think I said 1995 earlier in the playthrough. That is wrong, it was released in 1994. Super Metroid. So let's recap, shall we? When you open, you've got Brinstar, which is a sort of in Super Metroid. You've got Brinstar, which is sort of like a tropical rainforest sort of area. Then there's Norfair, which is like a volcanic area, and then there's a wrecked ship close to Crateria. And in this game, you have Tallon Overworld's Magmore Caverns, and then now this area, the Sunken Frigate. Like, is it just me, or does this... I mean, like, there's still a couple of new areas, like, Phendrana drifts for a long time, or actually, no, Fusion did it. Well, at any rate, like, you know, the Ice World, the Phendrana drifts was still relatively original, but at the same time, you know, like, about half or so of these areas in this game are recycled from Super Metroid. And, you know, that's fine, because this was, like, the first, you know, 3D Metroid game ever made, so it makes sense that they kind of want to make connections to the 2D games before, like, really, really exploring new things. But at the same time, you know, like, Super Metroid already kind of reused a bunch of stuff from the original Metroid, and the only reason I don't mind that is because I don't think the original Metroid is all that great, so I don't really mind that, you know, Super Metroid, like, improved upon so much stuff while, you know, like, using the same planet. But, you know, we have Zero Mission, we have Metroid 1, we have Super Metroid, and even though Zero Mission was released after Prime 1, you know, it's just, like, could they not... I mean, like, we've still got the Chozo Ruins, and, this other new area we're going to be coming up to really soon, Phendrana Drifts, etc. There's enough new here to where I won't say, like, okay, this is just repeating the same stuff over and over again, but, you know, at the same time, couldn't they have... Why did we need to reuse those areas again? Like, I don't know, I really wish that they had, you know, not reused it, like, maybe avoided a couple... I don't know, like, that's another reason why Prime 1 is not my favorite. It feels like it feels a little too cliched, so to speak, like it's just kind of the same thing I've done a million times in the 2D games, you know? Now, before we move on, and again, I really enjoy Prime 1. It's still a good game, and I really enjoy playing. Like, otherwise, why would I have played through it so many times? Like I mentioned before, I played through this game like 15 times, I swear. It's an excellent game, and I absolutely recommend it. This up here, there's an elevator here that leads to that ice beam chamber in the Chozo Ruins. So if you want to... The easiest way to come back here, if you don't want to have to backtrack through the Sunken Frigate, which is a pretty short area to begin with, you can just go through the Chozo Ruins. But, you know, at the same time, like, when you play Prime 2 or 3, like, while there's certainly, like, sort of lava areas and sort of ice areas, they look different. They stand out on their own. They're kind of like hail, fire. A good way to explain it, a good comparison to make, I guess, would be comparing Donkey Kong Country 1 to Returns, which was also developed by the same people who made Metroid Prime 1. Is that, like, half of the areas in Returns are reused from DKC 1. Like, you've got your viney forest area, you've got your jungle area, you've got your mines area, you've got your cave area. I mean, like, all the areas are just reused. By the way, this is the last big area to explore in Prime 1, Phazon Mines. And as I mentioned before, there's more than one pirate base on Tallon 4. Well, this is the big one. This is the doozy. And, you know, we're running relatively late in this part. So, like, there's one thing I want to grab in this room quick before we head down to, you know, really explore this area. So we might as well get that over with before we really start the Phazon Mines and whatnot. Alright, so a couple things to know is there are going to be some pirates coming down here. I want to switch to the ice beam. Alright, I see ya. Let me kill you already. Jeez. Die. Now, apparently a charged ice beam shot. Now, coming up here...
Surprise, motherfucker!
Surprise, motherfucker! Yeah, well, I knew it was coming, so it wasn't that. The first time that happened, that scared the bejesus out of me, I swear. But up here... But, yeah, over here. First of all, you want to shoot this with a wave beam shot. I'll activate it. Then we can make this crane over here move around. Kind of a fun puzzle. Metroid Prime does not disappoint in its set pieces, I must say, but, you know, just to kind of wrap up my thoughts there, I don't want to give the impression that I think Metroid Prime 1 is super unoriginal or didn't offer anything new, because it does. I mean, like, the scan visor was an amazing innovation in the gameplay. I mean, like, you've got these really, really cool set pieces that you're like, every time you play Prime 1, you're just like, oh yeah, I remember this crane thing that's up here. You know, like, you've got you've got Fendrana Drifts, you've got the Chozo Ruins, you've got this area, which isn't super interesting or anything, but it's at least something new, you know. But, you know, at the same time, like, all the areas in the sequels are completely original and new, you know. They don't reuse any of the old hat ideas. You might say that this is, oh, I don't want to make that comparison, because that'll piss a lot of people off, but, you know what, at any rate, I just think that, relatively speaking, when I compare, like, all three of the games side to side, you know, like, really look at them in depth, I can definitely say that Prime 1 is the least original, so to speak. That it reuses a lot of the old tricks, so to speak. And, again, because, like, part of me, like, really feels like that doesn't matter, and then part of me feels like, well, you know, if I'm comparing the sequels back to back, I don't want to save yet, because I want to make sure that the Hop-Hog didn't fuck me over. But yes, there's a save room here, and I recommend going in here before descending into the base, because once you do, this place can actually pretty relatively easy to die in, because there aren't as many save points, and, you know, so you want to use this before you head in, so you don't have to backtrack a bunch, or redo a bunch of stuff. But, you know, in the next part, we're going to be heading deeper into the Phazon Mines, and getting an important new power-up that'll actually allow us to grab a bunch of extra shit. But, you know, until then, I'm X Paradigm Gamer, and I will see you guys next time.